The psychology of people with no friends, it's not what you think. If you have no friends right now, there is nothing wrong with you. And the real reason behind this might shock you. In a world that constantly celebrates social butterflies and bustling social calendars, being alone can feel like a personal failure. Society whispers that something must be fundamentally broken if you don't have a crew, a squad, or a tight-knit circle. But what if the truth is far more nuanced and far more beautiful than that? The psychology behind friendlessness isn't about deficiency. It's about depth, discernment, and the profound journey of learning what connection really means. This isn't a story about what's wrong with you. It's a story about what's right, even when it doesn't feel that way. The myth of being unlikable. What society assumes. Most people assume that having no friends means you're weird, unlikable, or antisocial. The narrative we're fed suggests that if you're alone, you must have done something wrong, that you're socially inept, too picky, or somehow fundamentally unlovable. But that's not true. These assumptions are rooted in misunderstanding, not reality. The psychological reality. Psychologically, people who end up with no close friendships usually learned very early in life that connection wasn't safe. This isn't a character flaw. It's an adaptation, a survival mechanism formed in childhood when your developing brain was trying to make sense of relationships. Your nervous system learned to protect you the only way it knew how, by keeping people at a distance. The patterns we develop in childhood become the blueprints for our adult relationships. When early experiences teach us that vulnerability leads to pain, our brains quite literally rewire themselves to avoid that pain in the future. This isn't conscious. It's not a choice. It's neurobiology doing exactly what it was designed to do: keep you safe. Understanding this changes everything. It transforms self-blame into self-compassion. It reframes isolation not as personal failure, but as a logical response to an unsafe emotional environment. The hidden depth of friendless souls. And here's the part nobody tells you. People with no friends often have the richest inner worlds. They're deep thinkers, empaths, old souls, people with huge emotional capacity, but a small tolerance for fake, shallow, or unsafe interactions. Deep thinkers. You don't just make small talk. You crave conversations that matter. Surface-level interactions feel exhausting because your mind naturally gravitates toward meaning, philosophy, and understanding the layers beneath what people say. Natural empaths. You feel things intensely. Other people's emotions aren't just noticed. They're absorbed, processed, and understood at a cellular level. This gift of empathy is both your superpower and your vulnerability. Old souls. There's a wisdom in you that seems to transcend your years. You've always felt slightly out of step with your peers, as if you're operating on a different frequency, one that values depth over breadth, quality over quantity. Emotional capacity. Your ability to love, to understand, to feel is vast, oceanic. But that same capacity makes you acutely aware of when something is inauthentic, manipulative, or emotionally unsafe. Your tolerance for these dynamics is minimal, not because you're judgmental, but because you know what real connection feels like. This isn't about being too picky or too sensitive. It's about having standards that reflect your actual emotional needs. It's about recognizing that not all connection is good connection, and that loneliness with yourself is often healthier than companionship that diminishes you. The world often mistakes depth for difficulty, sensitivity for weakness. But the truth is that people who gravitate towards solitude aren't avoiding connection. They're refusing to settle for connections that don't nourish their soul. You're not broken, you're between versions. And having no friends doesn't mean you're broken. It means you're between versions of yourself. Please subscribe for more self-help philosophy and psychology life, relationships and business, transformational topics. Thanks for watching.